Hello everyone. In previous session on user-defined function, we looked at various theoretical concepts which were explained using some examples, such as definition of the function, how to write that, uh, how to define the function, types of passing arguments, scope of variable in a function, etc. Now in today's session, we try to solve some practice exercises on user-defined functions. So exercises is on the screen. I am taking here 5 questions, 5 exercise questions. So we'll solve one by one. Let us solve one by one. Let us first move to the first question. First question is, write a Python function to find the maximum of 3 numbers. Algorithm for this question is on the screen. First of all, before writing any function, what we have to decide is the name of the function. We have to choose the name of the function related to the problem or related to the question. Let us say the question is maximum 3. Let us say then function name is maximum 3 or highest of 3, whatever the name. Then we have to, next step, we have to decide the number of argument required by the function. Okay, that is also as per the problem or as per the questions. Then we have to write the logic of the function inside the body of the function. Okay, logic means, for example, find the maximum of the 3 number. So we have to decide how to find the maximum of the 3 number. So let's see the algorithm. In algorithm, our first step is to, as I told, we have to decide the function name. Here we have to decide function header, means we have to decide the name of the function and arguments. Then inside the function body, we have to decide which is the maximum out of x, y, z. So we decide using conditional statement. Say if x is greater than y as well as greater than z, then x is greater. If y is greater than x as well as greater than z, then y is greater. If these first two conditions are false, that means if x is not greater, then y is not greater, then obviously z is greatest. So z is the maximum number. It will return the maximum number. Then we call this function, test this function in our program, and print that maximum number. So our solution in Python coding is on the next slide. Before we go to the next slide, we go to the editor and see the solution here. I have already written the solution here on the editor. See, I am taking here max 3, taking 3 argument x, y, z. Then the first decision is, let us say we check that x is greatest. So how we will check that? X must be greater than y and x must be greater than z. Similarly, if this condition fails, then we check whether y is greatest or not. So y must be greater than x, y must be greater than z. If these two conditions are false, then obviously z is greatest, so it will return z. Okay, then after this, when the function is over, we'll come to our main part of the program. We'll call the function and store the result in the variable m. Say max 3, 10, 30 minus 40, then print the maximum number is m. So we run this program. So maximum is 30. It's clear. You can also change the value, any value you can change. Let us say first value is 100. So next value is say, let us say 100. So we'll run this again. The maximum is 100. Okay, so this solution is over. Now we go to the coding part. So see the coding part of first question, same question which we did on this editor, and I am giving here the two solutions of these questions. So there may be some other solution, but I have given the two solutions. First solution, which I already discussed on this editor, Now next solution is very tricky one. What I am doing here is I am using two functions here and I am calling one function in another function. Okay, so this is called the nesting of function. You can say nested functions. So here what I am doing here, I am taking one function which find the greatest of two number, then another function which find the greatest of three number. In greatest of three number, what I am doing, what I am calling here maximum, I am calling the maximum of two number. So in maximum of two, here it requires two parameter. First parameter is x and next parameter is again maximum of 2 is yz. Out of yz it will return one number, then maximum of 2 will decide which is greater than x and value returned by the next maximum of 2. Okay, so it will in this way it will find the maximum of 3. This is also very tricky solution. Let's move to the next question. Question number 2. Write a Python function to sum all the number in a list. Okay, so again the algorithm is on the screen here. What is the question is that we have to pass a list to the function. Function will traverse in the list and find all sum of all the elements and return the sum. Okay, so here I am again like previous question, first I am deciding the name of the function, then how many argument this function require, one argument, because it is taking list as a parameter. It means here I am taking one argument, let us say n, which is reference to the list. Okay, inside the function body what I am taking is taking one variable which will find the total of all the elements of the list, let us say total or t. Then we'll using for loop we will traverse in the list. Okay, this using for loop will traverse in the inside the for loop we will say total is equal to total plus x. X is a variable of the for loop which will give the individual element of the list. Then we return the total, and outside the function body we declare a list. Okay, call the function and provide this list to the function, and function will return the sum of the elements. Again let us before going to the next slide, which is the solution coding of this question, we'll do it on the editor. Let us will write here, say def sum, let us say function name is sum list. Okay, taking one argument n, this, let us say total variable t equal to 0, then for, let us say x in n. X is a for loop variable which traverses in the list, so x will refer to the individual element of the list. Okay, then we'll say t equal to t plus x. Okay, x will be added to t. Okay, then when we come out from the for loop it will find the total and return the value of t. Okay, come to the main part of the program. First of all we create a list, L is equal to 10, 30, 40, 60. Okay, then we call the function, let us say it will return the result. Let us take variable, say s is equal to sum list t, not t is L, L is a capital one. Now print this list, sum of list is t. Okay, let us run this program. T is not defined, it's not t, it's s. I am taking here s. S is the variable which is storing the result of the function. Now run this program. So sum is 140. You can check that list is 10 plus 30, 40, 40 plus 40 is 80, 80 plus 60 is 100. Okay, 140, correct. Move to the coding part, same coding which I did in editor. Then next move on to next question, question number 3. Write a function, Python function that takes a number as a parameter and check the number is prime or not. Again, algorithm is on the screen, and the step of algorithm says first we have to decide the name of the function and number of argument. This function requires only one argument, number, as a number, which will be checked, that number will be checked by the function that it is prime or not. Okay, now what is the logic of the prime is that prime number is a number which is having a two factor only, 1 and itself. Okay, so in the logic we'll first check is that if n is 1, suppose the number is 1, it means number is a not a prime number, because 1 is a number which is having one factor. Then if n equal to 2, no, n 2 is a prime number, return true. Then if number is greater than 2, then the third condition is, first two conditions are very clear. The third condition that if number is greater than 2 means it is 3, it is 5, it is 7, it is 10, it is 15, it is 20, then we have to implement here a loop, okay, which will do the divisibility test, and divisibility test is started from 2 up to the number, up to the one number, and say n minus 1. Let us say number is n, then we will check, then loop will run from 2 to n minus 1. Okay, so in that we will take the divisibility test of that number and we will divide the number with all the values of the loop. If the condition is true, then we say that there is a factor other than 1 and itself, it means number is not a prime, and it will return a false value. Now suppose this for loop is false, suppose this for loop is not satisfied, then it is understood that there is no factor other than 1 and itself, the loop return true. Okay, now outside this function, then when our function job is over, then outside the function we ask a user to input a number, then call a function and print the result. Okay, again we will do it on the first editor. Let us say function is check underscore prime, it takes one argument. Our first check is if n equal to 1, return false. Okay, if n equal to 2, return true. Now these two cases are very clear. Then the third case is else case. In else case we implement a loop here, divisibility test. Let us say for x in range, so divisibility test start from, because number is divisible by 1, every number is divisible by 1 and itself, so we leave the step of 1 and itself, so we'll start from 2 up to n minus 1, say n, and automatically it is n minus 1. Okay, then we divide the number here. If n percent x equal to 0, if this condition is true, then return false. Now suppose for loop fails, let us say for loop is not satisfied, then in under this else part it will return true. Okay, now function definition is over. So what we'll do here, we'll take a number and ask the user to input the number at runtime, enter number. Okay, then call the function will return a result. Let us say r is equal to check underscore prime n. Okay, then print r. So what is the value of r? Either true or false. Let us run this program. Enter a number. Let us say we say 23. True, it is a prime number. So we can again check for other non-prime number. Say 15. False, it is not a prime number. So this is the solution is over. Now we'll move to the coding part. See, coding is same which we did on the editor, same. Okay, say check prime number, n is equal to 1, return false. If n is equal to 2, return true. Then in this else part there is a for loop which check the divisibility test, start from 2 up to n minus 1. Okay, and same process. Then question number 4. Now write a Python function to create and print list. Of what function is doing here? Function is creating the list and also printing the list and of values which are square of numbers between 1 and 20. So we have to generate a sequence between 1 and 20 and we have to find the square of those number, and those number will be stored in the list. This is the logic. So see the solution here. So we can directly go to the editor here again. So display list, let us say name of the function, taking no argument because argument is not required. Okay, let us say function is, this is the empty list. So here I am taking the sequence for x in range 1 to 21. Why I am taking 21? Because I want to include 1 and 20. So I want to generate a sequence from 1 and 20, and 20 should be included. So range function take the number, last number up to n minus 1. So I am taking last value is 21. So it will include 20. So here L dot append in list. If I want to add the numbers at the end of the list, the append method is there. Append say x. Okay, now list is created. Now here I will print this list, and list is capital L. Okay, let us run this program. Oh, I am not called this. First of all, I have to call this function display. I want to display list. Okay, run this. Range spelling is mistake. RANG, range function. Now see the result. So list is in 1. Oh, sorry, it is not taking the square of the number. Sorry, x double star. Okay, now the solution is over. Square of all the number between 1 and 20. So let us move to the problem number, last problem, question number 5. Write a Python function that accepts a string, means string from the user, and calculate, or user or say initialize the string in the program, calculate the number of uppercase letter and lowercase letters. So again, the function which takes one argument as a string, this is a say def string check, but here I am taking one additional thing is that I am taking dictionary here. I am taking dictionary as a global variable. In dictionary I am taking two pairs, that is key is first key is uppercase, its value is 0, the next key is lowercase, its value is 0. Okay, so in function definition I am taking the name of the function is string check, then it takes one parameter s, then implement the for loop which traverse in the string. Okay, so C is referring to the individual character of the string. So I am using here the string function, string library function C dot is upper. Okay, so what will do is our function will check whether the number is in uppercase or not. Okay, if it is in uppercase, so what we'll do here, we'll increment the value of the first pair of the dictionary. Say see, uppercase is the first key, so uppercase D uppercase plus equal to 1. The value of this first key will be incremented from 0 to 1. Then value of second key, if it is in lowercase, the value of second key lowercase is incremented to 1. Else say pass means the loop will do nothing. So again I will say do this on the editor first. Let us take dictionary. D is equal to global dictionary. I am taking dictionary here. Say I am doing U case. I am taking U case 0 comma L case 0. Two pairs are taken. Then def string, function name is string count, taking one parameter, say s colon no, for C is a loop which will traverse, for C in S which will traverse in a string, character by character. It's since string is a sequence, we can for loop can easily traverse in the string. So C indicating the individual character of the string. So here I will implement the check C dot is upper. C dot is upper is true. So dictionary U case, so key must be in single quotes, plus equal to 1. So increment the value of first pair of the dictionary. Then elif C dot is lower, C dot is lower, D of L case plus equal to 1. D of L case plus equal to 1. This is also included in single quotes. Okay, then else, because elif else is must here, so we'll say pass. Okay, then come to the definition part. First we have to take a string. Let us say s is equal to Python programming of class of class 12th. Python programming of class 12th. This is our string. So print this original string first. Original string s, then call the function. Function name is string count, s. Okay, string call the function, then again print the value of dictionary. Uppercase letters R, D of U case, now copy this line, Control C, अभी इसको मैं एल केस कर देता हूँ, यहाँ पे लोअर कर देता हूँ, ठीक है। नाउ चेक दिस रिजल्ट। So how many uppercase letters are there? Python P capital, then programming P capital, class C, 3 letters are capital, then other characters are lowercase. So this is the result, count number of characters. Then move on to next is our homework assignment. So this is for you to solve at your own. So if you have any difficulty, please ask me, okay, in the comment section. So this is today's session. Thank you.